Hi everyone, it's Jen from Vine Styles. I hope you're doing well and that you're staying safe. It's December now, and I think we're all feeling the same thing. Vitam vitae este, wine is life. Today we're going to be talking about a wine with a grape that I don't think you might have heard of. So it's going to be an indigenous grape to the Piedmont region of Italy, and I'm really excited to start talking about it, so let's get into it. You may have just heard me say Vitam vitae este. Well, that translates to wine is life. And how true that is to this historical region that we're going to be trying today, Verduno. And the grape variety that we're going to be trying today is called Pelaverga. And more particular, we're going to be trying the clone of Piccolo. The original clone was found about an hour west in the small area called Saluzzo, where that clone variety is now called Grosso. The rarer and more delicate style of the Piccolo clone was actually transported to that Verduno area and was planted there and is now the variety of that town. Verduno is a little town in the Barolo area. It's actually just south of the Alba, or of the city of Alba. So all of the houses are gathered around this old castle, and it's now turned into a hotel and restaurant now. The name of Verduno actually comes from the Celtic language and means flowery hill. I was looking into this a little bit further, and the Celtics that actually moved into that area were very much into landscapes, and so they were actually deemed as landscape lovers. Another really cool thing about the Langhe area is that it has actually become part of the UNESCO Heritage or World Heritage Sites. It's just outstanding because it's a wine tradition that has started in ancient times and has been passed down and changed throughout time. So the cooperative is actually called Terre del Barolo, but it's not made with the Nebbiolo grape. It's just the area, and it's just the cooperative. This cooperative was established in 1958 by mayor/teacher Arnaldo Riviera, who was very, very likable. They're actually one of the oldest historical cooperatives in that area, and it's still active today, which is very interesting or very cool. These are the growers themselves, so they're the ones that are taking care of the grapes because it's their reputation on the line with the quality of grapes that are coming out, especially with historic grapes like the Pelaverga Piccolo. The Pelaverga Piccolo was actually almost extinct from this area. It ended up getting interplanted over the years with Nebbiolo, and it started losing land there. And then eventually they started revamping the vineyards and replanting it again. So this is a grape that we weren't actually going to see for much longer until the comeback in the recent years. So very neat. A little bit about the grape since we don't know much about it. So the Pelaverga grape comes in two clones, Grosso and Piccolo. Piccolo clone of Pelaverga is the more rare, and it's a little bit more delicate, and it's more sought after. Mostly used in sparkling wines. It's noted for its very strawberry and fruity sort of notes, and it also has a little bit of almost a herbal, thymy, rosemary-esque note to it as well. Piccolo means small, so the grapes for this one, while the berry itself is black, they tend to get a little bit of a grayish tint to it, and that just happens to be the natural bloom in that area. Bloom is just basically wild yeast. It's 100% hand harvested. Alcoholic fermentation takes about 5 to 6 days. Temperature controlled between 22 and 24 degrees. It's only aged for 3 to 4 months in tank prior to bottling. Let's start cracking. Let's go for it. Another thing, just because we're all about the fun facts here, so you might notice that each bottle has this Albese embossing on the bottle. And it was actually something that started in 1973 as a non-profit organization by the Renato Ratti family and about 15 other producers in the Langhe area. The way how Burgundian and Bordeaux and Alsatian bottles are very distinct, the Longueuil area also wanted to make their bottles distinct as well. And so that's a little thing about why the embossing is on the bottle. So very, very cool. Let's pour. It's like this really beautiful velvety red looking color. So I would say this is definitely a pale ruby red. Oh, interesting. Okay. It has that maraschino cherry note to it. It has a little bit of like an almond note as well, almost like an amaretto. But there's definitely that candied strawberry, some ripe strawberry in there as well, like a macerated sort of strawberry, something that you would just crush up in a bowl. It does have a very perfumed sort of wildflower, red flowers, purple flowers note to it as well. Almost as though it's almost potpourri in the sense. So maybe a little bit more of a dried flower note to it. And it has a little bit of a spice in the background too. Very nice, very, very pretty, and a lot of aromas that I don't necessarily see coming together all the time. All right, let's taste. Oh, very cool on the palate. So very, very light. You almost don't get any tannin at all, or at least it's incredibly light. I would say very low tannin, almost to the sense that I'm almost not really able to feel the nature of the tannins. I was wondering if it had to do with some acidity in there, but I'm not necessarily drooling either. And so I think that it's just very low tannin, and I think it doesn't necessarily have a lot of acid on there. It's a very easy Zoom call meeting sort of wine. Crunchy strawberry sort of note, but I'm also getting some apple, like some red apple in there as well. Not necessarily too complex, but it's just a really, really interesting type of grape that I haven't tried before. We had a little bit of a dried prune note and a little bit of an amaretto almond. Very soft. There's a little bit, I'm getting more of the herbs on the exhale on the palate than I was on the aroma profile. On the aroma profile, it's just very fruity, very floral. Oh yeah, definitely that strawberry is coming out a little bit more. And it has a little bit of a spice in the background as well. Very, very cool. It's very easy drinking. If you like gamets and if you like Pinot Noirs, like the lighter Burgundian style, I think you're really going to like this Pelaverga as well. What would I pair with something like this? Well, because we're so close to the Alba region, we must do some truffle risotto, something to do with some nice mushrooms, a little bit of earthiness I think will go well with it. And then we could go into maybe some crudo. We're looking for delicate sort of foods. Just because of that light body and the very low tannins to it, I think it could hold up against a meaty salmon, something like that. Or of course, we can absolutely go into the poultry section, a little bit of white meat in there, and some earthy sort of vegetables. I would go for softer type of cheeses. I would do some brie and cranberries. And since we are in the, the Christmas season here, this would also go with turkey as well if you want to get into a little bit darker meats. So the deal for 25% off 6 packs is available until December 11th. So you have until December 11th to get the deal. Otherwise, you can still find it on our shelf in the elegant section. Well, I hope you guys take care and that you stay safe, and I hope to see you in the next video. All right, bye, take care.